Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore. And what a series this is shaping up to be, the semifinal, the first semifinal of the amateur tournament between Cyber Games Arena and Detonation Focus Me. It seems that playing with an AD carry is just what the doctor ordered for CGA. They bring it to a Game 3. We're going to see right now who will win that Game 3 and which of these teams we're going to see in the final of the amateur tournament tomorrow, CGA or DFM. Time to find out with Joe and Jason.
Thanks a lot, Shocks. And right there, just what the doctor ordered for CGA in terms of an AD carry. I'm pretty sure they're going to have another one this time around. But yeah, into game number 3, the third and final one of this best of 3 series. And the winner goes through into the grand final to play either Hong Kong, Hong Kong Attitude or Kuala Lumpur Hunters. I knew what I was talking about. I was laughing at something that just happened over there behind the camera. But this is a big game because those other two teams in this tournament, for me, are the stronger two, on paper at least, Kuala Lumpur Hunters and the Hong Kong Attitude. The fact is that both of these teams have looked good. Both of them have looked a little bit shifty in their own right. So not sure exactly how Game 3 is all going to go down, to be honest. Yeah,
you're definitely right. DFM, the first game, they looked really solid. We were really convinced that, wow, they're playing pretty well considering they're using a substitute. But then CGA, on the other hand, in game number 2, I mean, they finally picked up an AD carry, and they seem to play a lot better together. I don't know what they did from game 1 to game 2, but whatever they did, it worked out really well for them. They were finally playing as a team, and I think a lot of that was due to 228 just being so damn strong on Fizz. I mean, I think he got them rolling so quickly with those 13 kills.
Yeah, 13 kills with Fizz. Pretty sure we're not going to see a Fizz here in game
would imagine
number 3. But we are into the bans and the picks, and it is actually DFM that get blue side here in our third and final matchup. And we can see there the bans coming out. Corky, Nidalee, and Fizz.
I think they realized they're in the wrong order. I was going to see how long you keep that one going. Oh, but we're in the picks and bans again, Joe. So I think we're going to see Corky.
There we go. We're back into
Nidalee.
it. We're still, by the way, in completely the wrong order. So I'm not sure what that really achieved. Nothing, it seems. But it doesn't really matter either way. Corky, Fizz. On the other side, Fiddlesticks, Draven. That's a bit of a random throw out there, just banning the Draven like that.
Could they No, they wouldn't misclick.
Who?
They wouldn't misclick Draven instead of Elise. He's right after it.
Or Mundo.
That won't. Anyway, so yeah, the Draven ban. Don't think we'd ever. I never thought we'd ever see that.
No.
Then again, I never thought we'd see a game without an AD carry. So maybe they're just catching us off guard at all points today. But they do have a Shyvana locked in, and Gorilla. I mean, he did pretty damn good. He didn't farm as well early on because they were out of the laning phase very quickly, but he was such a nuisance in those fights. He was single-handedly, I think, keeping DFM in that second game up to the point where it just couldn't carry it anymore. His back broke.
So they've left Renekton open in this one, which they were just hovering over. We've seen Renekton banned in both of our previous games, which means I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if that Renekton actually ends up being picked up for CGA. But right now they want that Annie support, and it looks like they want the Vi for the jungle. A two-time pick, actually, for Annalise over on the DFM side.
Yes, looks like he's going to, well, one of his 2 champions. It's either Vi or it's either Jarvan. He's going to go for that man himself. So I'm curious, are they going to pair it up with like maybe an Orianna to do that whole combo with the Jarvan Orianna? You get the ball in there, you hold them all there. It's not a bad pickup. It allows Shyvana to finally do some extra damage without having to chase, so it makes it so you don't have to go for like a Lulu support necessarily, or a support that has any sort of CC. But Thresh definitely does help, and it definitely does facilitate that. The Annie pick though, she's such a strong support right now. But unfortunately for Sean, he just hasn't had the backup he's needed when he's committed to the fights. It seems like maybe there's a little bit of miscommunication. He's been flashing Tibberings in, and he doesn't really have the damage.
Flashing Tibberings.
Yeah, it's a verb. It's a verb. But he doesn't have like necessarily the backup behind that to really kill that person that they got. I mean, they hit the AD carry of the enemy team multiple times, but they couldn't actually lock him down. They had that cleanse, obviously, get out of that little bit of a stun, but you need a little bit more.
And we see a Vayne and Renekton coming into this one. So that Renekton that we thought would get through after the ban, there wasn't a ban towards it because they took Fizz instead, will be picked up here by CGA to go for Red, who's obviously had himself jacked in the last couple of games. For me, in game number 2, outstanding performance, was very, very dangerous. Opting not to ban that out, but with his Renekton open, he seems more than happy with that one. So what are DFM going to finish off with here? Lucian, Jinx, well, all the AD carries apart from Draven, which was, again, a weird...
He's like, damn it, that's the one I wanted this game.
They heard me talking between game 2 and 3 that I wanted Draven. I don't know why that Draven ban all of a sudden just appeared, but whether that was a misclick or whether they were really going for the Draven that Imitai has not picked up in the last 2 games, we'll have to see. Currently sat on Tristana and Orianna, so it's going to be Tristana, Orianna.
I'm actually surprised to see the Tristana over the Caitlyn. Well, for one, Imitai plays Caitlyn quite a bit. 2, Caitlyn is a pretty damn good counter to Vayne, since you have that range early on. The Tristana, though, I don't know why you would change it up, because if they're going for like a 2v1 lane against that Renekton to stop from getting farmed up, you depend on a lot of harass with your E as Tristana, and you can't attack under the turret when you're doing that, where a Caitlyn can just kind of bounce in between the shots. But, so you are seeing Orianna this time, not going to be in the support lane, I would imagine. But, I don't know. I want to see how well he plays on Tristana.
What are they finishing off with here? They were looking possibly at Cassiopeia.
You know,
they were sat with Riven as well.
Ziggs. Like, we had that so many times played at Intel Extreme Masters in Cologne. We had Link playing it from CLG, did phenomenally well. I think he didn't die once on him over the course of his 2 games. But we've had a lot of players say that, you know, Ziggs is a very good counter to Orianna. But it looks like we're going to see Cassiopeia. And honestly, she's a very high damage champion. Like, she can do so much so quickly. And that ultimate, if you can hit it perfectly, does very well. And I believe you can even catch Shyvana off guard with it, where if she ulties, you can catch her like right in the transition and she won't actually fly anywhere. So I don't know how quick his reaction times are for that, but I don't know. It's really interesting to see a Cass picked here. And it gets an Orianna, so you get the move speed, which can help quite a bit. But the range is going to be a little bit of a difficulty.
So let's see then. 2-8 obviously going to play now. And they are in the wrong order, technically, but we'll let them off.
Oh, you're the camera guy, so it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm the camera guy, so I've got to move that all around. I have to have that in my mind as we get into this next one. But Vayne, you know, Godquai played a great Lucian in that last one. We'll see how he plays with the Vayne this time around. Sean, who's had good time with Annie, you know, I always think the Tibbers and the ultimate out of Cassiopeia as well are very kind of similar things. Like, if you hit one, the other one's pretty much guaranteed afterwards.
Right. Yeah, Tibberines into a
Tibberine.
petrifying Tibbers. There we go.
If you go Tibberine in, it's all good.
Yeah, it has the potential, I'll say that, to work really well. But there's a reason you don't see Cassiopeia in most competitive games, or a lot of competitive games, because she has no escape middle. Like, pre-6, she's like the easiest thing to gank when she's not that flash up anymore. Obviously, you can speed yourself up a little bit with your Qs, but she's so easy to harass, especially as a Jarvan. I mean, he's going to have a tough time laning, so he's going to need a lot of help from P-Smite if he wants to successfully get through that phase. But late game, if he gets going, he can do quite a bit. He can probably, I don't think he can outrun Shyvana, but he can definitely give him a run for his money.
So here we go then, into game number 3 between Detonation and Cyber Games Arena. Who's going to come out on top of this one? The winner will move through into tomorrow's Amateur Grand Final to play either the Hong Kong Attitude or Kuala Lumpur Hunters. And you see here, moving down, Dragon Slayer Vayne, my favorite ever Vayne, especially here in Singapore.
What about the Heartseeker Vayne?
No. I saw a Dragon Slayer Vayne cosplay here in Singapore last year.
Now I remember why.
That won my heart.
Yeah. Now I just remember that's my favorite skin too.
Yeah, that would be everyone's favorite skin if they saw that cosplay. Just saying. But either way, the setup here is pretty similar to what we saw in games 1 and 2, which was a bit of a line defense coming in. Then we saw in game number 2 that they both invaded onto each other's red buffs. What are we going to see develop here in game number 3? A couple of wards put down early on from CGA on the red side, in the either side of the river, basically. And they've got a 2-man team set up here on the top side, and actually Sean is already recalling.
Yeah, we don't see really any information wards. We see no wards at all down for DFM so far. Am I just blind? We see nothing down for them currently. It looks like they really want to save onto those for as long as possible. Maybe stay in the laning phase for quite a bit longer. I mean, it's very uncommon to never see a ward put down in these little bit of a level 1 skirmish because you want any sort of information you can get. Even though the line defense gives you the opportunity to realize, hey, they're not on our side of the jungle, anything you put into their side gives you that little bit of a notion that, oh, Peace might starting here or here, or maybe their AD carry support's going there. And they finally do put one down towards the bottom side of the river, but the timing is very awkward on it.
President Ma with Thresh, we'll see how his hooks coming from this one. Third game, third different support actually after his Fiddlesticks was banned out after game number 1. But Sean, again, he's been going for a lot of flash tibbers going in there. And to be honest, his success rate has been pretty high as well. It's all about the follow-up that I think CGA need to work on.
Yeah, and you see a little bit of harass, just what Tristana can do against a Thane. As long as you keep putting that E down, it's pretty much free damage. I mean, whenever she comes in range to attack the minions, and obviously Tristana becomes so hard to deal with later on in the game when she has hit that level 18 and has the longest range in the game. But Sean doing a decent job here. He's trying to zone quite well with that stun, with the potential of it, and not to mention that long auto attack range. But right now, DFM just doesn't really care too much about it. They're pushing the wave in, and they're going to hit that level 2 very soon.
Level 2 will get hit here. We'll see if they go for anything. President Mark actually has just hit level 2, but no early attempt at the hook. Dragging an Annie in there is always going to be slightly dangerous, as we see 2-8, as we expected here, with the early pressure coming out of Cassiopeia.
But right now we do see Annalise, he's on the sides. He wants to go for a gank here, and they're not going to see Peace Might going in. Peace Might's actually going to spot him, so they might be able to turn this one around. But right now, 2-8 doesn't have too much mana to do this with.
Oh, the flag goes down, but they don't follow it through. But there goes Peace Might right into the middle of the group. And in the end, they both disengaged, not really wanting to take too much of a fight there.
And now looking at how these lanes have kind of gone a little bit here, I think President Ma, the whole mindset of not putting any wards out early on, was because he wants to have as many wards as possible, realizing that their lanes is constantly going to be pushing with that explosive shot out of Tristana, with just the passive off of it. And knowing Vayne can't wave clear quickly to push it back, they're going to be against the enemy turret for most of the time. And there you see the flash out of 2-8. Like, that's the downside. Now, if any other follow-up gank comes from Annalise or anyone else on the team, he's probably going to die. And you can't really afford to do that as an AP carry in the modern meta, where you need some high mobility, you need that potential to escape.
Well, we'll see in a little while. There's a flash, and the stun not actually connecting that one well though onto President Ma, but it was all a little bit too late actually, with Vi then not in range for the follow-up. Meanwhile in the top lane,
So close.
so close to missing that one. Red 1v1 against Guerrera. He did use the Ghost right at the very end of that encounter as well, so Ghost will be down, and that just shows you why they've banned out Red's Renekton up until now.
Yeah, and
you can't afford to lose 1v1 ever in a solo lane.
Yeah, especially as like a Shyvana right now, where Renekton should be able to gain... Well, okay, so Shyvana, as the lane goes on a little bit longer, and he gets the abilities leveled up, it's not going to matter too much because he'll be doing more damage that Renekton can do, assuming that Shyvana builds a little bit of lifesteal into that Blade of the Rune King, so it should be okay, but you should never die in a 1v1 5 minutes in. Like, that just kind of shows that you might get outplayed a little bit too hard in your lane, and that allows the jungler, you know, for Peace Might to just focus on middle and bottom, and right now he's going to focus on middle. He has to keep 2-8 alive.
Yeah, 2-8. Flash about a quarter of the way off its cooldown at this point, as we are going to see the flash coming out from Godquite in the bottom lane as well. Trying to get back to the safety of his tower. Didn't burn through his barrier there, so at least has that available for the next hook, basically, is what starts that off.
Look at the difference in health in this lane, too. I mean, Imitai is just full health, and Godquite is sitting at about a third life right now, and that just kind of shows that the harass that he's been able to do with those E's over and over has really been pressuring him quite a bit. And farming under the turret, you can see the difference in CS building up.
So is Vi going to get involved on that one? We have Jarvan actually there. And Vi's in mid lane, as you said. It needs to keep 2-8 alive at this point. That is going to be the big thing for him. But if Annalise is able to get in and that flag and drag over onto one of them in the bottom side of the map, then it becomes really, really difficult to get out of.
And right now, Annalise is working kind of against time, realizing that Godquite has no flash, 2-8 has no flash, Sean has no flash. He has 2 lanes that he could go for a gank on, except bottom's constantly pushing, and middle's kind of getting camped out by Peace Might. So he can either, I guess, just, you know, farm up quite a bit here, maybe invade and counter jungle a little bit. Maybe go for a gank on this top side, because right now, CGA is winning that one very heavily.
Yeah, that's pretty much an easy lane. That just reminds me to reorder all the entire scoreboard, which I forgot to do earlier on. There we go. That's that one. You had one job, Jason, to remind me.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. Well, and then I'm done for today.
That was your job. Your job failed miserably. Either way, doesn't really matter. So Renekton right now up in this top side of things. As we said, that early kill has given him a brutalizer along with that Doran shield, which is going to make that lane all the more hard. Wow,
yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult for Shyvana. As you do see him just kind of harassing a little bit here. And can you actually hover over Renekton real quick on the score? There we go. Just so people can see his items, or Tristana's items more importantly. But yeah, he has control of this lane. You can see in the CS, he's got almost double right now. The brutalizer is definitely going to give him a lot more harassing. Considering as a Renekton, your first item is almost always a Sunfire Cape. That shows his confidence.
Yeah, exactly. And we just saw then the ping coming around, the ward in position. Actually, it wasn't. It was just Vi that spotted Jarvan coming in. 228's flash almost there at this point. Got about a quarter, just under a quarter left on that one as the hook does come in. Actually, will land on towards Godquai from this one. The flake not quite going to get down as the stun came in from Sean. That's the thing. He's got the protection there as long as Sean has got that stun ready.
Yeah, and that's really going to hurt him on mana as he continues to build that stun up over and over. But I don't know, both these lanes are not sustained, and Thresh is doing such a great job of zoning as much as possible with these attacks. But right now, Sean has flash almost open or up soon, and he's actually not even. He should be hitting level 6 very shortly too. So they could go for an engage, but in the meantime, DFM they're already backing away. So Peace Smite hasn't been able to take advantage of anything just yet, and neither has Analyst.
Yeah, that was like the perfect time there for Peace Smite to get around the side, but not quite able to. But with that bottom lane going away, this completely opens up what is essentially a free dragon.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, CG's been doing such a great job over the course of these 3 games of just taking opportunistic dragons, and there's another one right now, and that only makes Renekton get so much stronger up in his top side. Yeah,
well, it's going to be underneath the turret here. Actually will flash back in towards the turret. He knows that he's not going to escape this one, and it is going to be Gorira that picks it up. So that's a very much welcome kill back here for DFM, especially in this top lane where that Renekton is just having such a good time of things.
Yeah, Analyst's been so far more successful than Peace Smite in these ganks. They're going to continue to push the top lane too. Maybe get this turret down about to half health, but either way, they still lost out on that dragon, so CGA are still ahead from that trade.
Unless this tower goes down. And in the bottom lane, actually, they're already hammering away onto that one, down to about half, as we are going to see the flash timbers coming down. There's a Salt and Battery coming into President Ma, but can he get away from it? Peace Smite here, taking a lot of damage, and actually the hook will land. They don't follow up, though. Not got the damage in there, and wanted to make sure that they were safe. The stun did land onto Imitai, but he'd already rocket jumped away from that one. And as far as a big gank goes, that was not bad at all for them to survive.
They committed 2 flashes, 1 ignite, and 2 ultimates for that. That is really unfortunate for CGA. They didn't have the damage they needed to burst down President Ma, and that's just due to Godquai wasn't there yet. He wasn't in the lane yet to really make that one happen, and great job by overall DFM to escape it.
Sent Tibbers in there, just tibbering around under the turret, and there's a rocket jump in. They're going for Godquai. There is a shockwave which didn't connect, but they'll have enough damage either way. Godquai is gonna go down, and it is Imitai that picks that one up. So overall, nicely played. And as soon as you see that rocket jump coming in to you under the tower like that, you know that you're in trouble.
Yeah, you definitely are. And Analyst even picked up an early Oracle right there and cleared out a ward. So 10.5 minutes. Very, very early. They did get the top turret in the end, and now they're going to get the bottom one, so they get a nice little bit of a goal lead here, even after losing that dragon. And right now, CGA, Vayne's losing in farm. Their top lane is winning with Renekton still, even though he just had that death, and middle is not looking too great in their part.
And Gorira doing a good job here of actually baiting out a couple of turret hits there on towards Red. He's had that good start, but that can always turn bad very quickly. 228 in mid, since that flash early on, has fallen 10 CS behind Orianna. Both of them, of course, going in for that Athene's Unholy Grail.
And this time, Peace Smite, he's been able to get a lot more farm than in that first game, where he was just kind of everything being taken away from him. And Right now, we see a little bit of roaming coming in action too with Imitai and President Ma. They realize, hey, we have the bomb turret down. We know that Godquai can't wave clear really quickly, so why not get some damage onto this middle turret?
To be careful not to take damage from said middle turret though. That minion wave cleared out quickly as you can expect from Cassiopeia. See exactly the same from Syros, and they're going to try and have a go at this one now. Vi and Annie both coming around to try and protect it.
I'm not sure if they can hold on to it. We might see a Cassiopeia ultimate like really open up this entire fight right now because we do have Peace Fight with his ultimate available on top of that. Not to mention Tibbers can be tibbering around, but that top side Red getting ganked yet again.
Yeah, and there is a Cataclysm down. Red here going to be a little bit in trouble, but he's doing good damage onto Guerrera and actually will pull off the kill. He's thinking, can I ever go at Annalise? Not sure if he can. Will dodge the knock up there. Will manage to lifesteal some back with a Dragon Strike. Will finish him off. But he got one and he went down. There is a shockwave as well on towards 228. Jumping from Imitai, who gets slammed into the ground. He's tanking up the turret. Will actually flash away from it. And they manage here to pick that one up. Jarvan did die in the top. They didn't even see Sean going up there. But, you know, that's a kill back against the jungler for the support. And they've lost the mid turret.
Yeah, in the end for 2 for 2, and DFM take the turret off of that. And I don't know. I mean, that was a pretty even trade. But I think DFM came out ahead because Sean was the one to get the kill. I mean, he's able to afford an Oracle now, so it could actually work in CGA's favor that with this Oracle, if he clears out enough vision, it can definitely get him control of the game and obviously worth it in the end right now, but that's all up to him at this point. And I'm really curious why Imitai, the turret fell off of him, the turret aggro. Out of nowhere. I don't know.
I'm not sure either, honestly. I'm not quite sure why that happened, because he flashed underneath the turret.
When it was already hitting him.
And it seemed to lose it. I'm not
like,
sure
whoa,
if...
I'm going to back off.
If because there was an attack as he was flashing us, I'm not 100% sure about that. It doesn't really matter in the end, although I think he would have gone down if it would have stuck onto him. There is Guerrero, who's definitely feeling stronger now that he's got that Sunfire cape burning around him. To have another go at Red, who's not got his Sunfire cape ready. Obviously went Brutalizer to try and get more kills, more damage down onto Shyvana. In the end, that's actually not worked out too amazing for him.
Yeah, so he rushed that for a little bit of damage early on, and Shyvana went for the tankiness. So they just pretty much traded build routes, funny enough, even though Shyvana doesn't go for that Brutalizer. But you can see, he's starting to keep up in damage. He's doing quite a bit to Red now, and it's making him gain control of his lane.
Yeah. Already pushed him up here onto that inner tower. We've got 30 seconds, by the way, until Dragon gets into the game again. We'll see what impact that's going to have on things. There's already a line of wards down on the blue side of the map to make sure that they've got that vision control on that. But the top laners aren't going to be involved. If something happens around Dragon now, the top lane is not going to be involved. And we can see that Jarvan in the mid, Orianna's starting to come down. They might actually have a go and taking out this Dragon. We can see that Renekton is actually back in now, so that may be in response to this, knowing that that pink ward just went down.
It definitely can be, and we still have Analyst with his Oracle available. Dragon's going to be started off here, and right now, CGA, they're in position to stall it. I mean, they have Sean there. He has his stun. He has his flash. He has Tibbers, and he does get pulled in.
Yeah, they managed to pull him in. There's a shockwave as well. The ultimate did come out of Cassiopeia, but it didn't really help them at all. 2-8 will fall. Sean will go down. They're all trapped up inside the Cataclysm right now as Godquai does manage to escape. Syros going a little bit too deep, and by a little bit, I mean far too deep from that one. And now with a very healthy Red coming in, they're going to have a go and try and pick up more kills from it. President Mar is low. There is Peace Mike moving in as well. They're going to pick up one. That is Guerrera. He does go down finally to Red, who's now looking for Thresh, but they're going to try and pin the rest of him. Annalise comes sliding through the wall. Imitai will dive back towards the turret, but Godquai is very healthy as well. He will pick up the kill on towards Annalise. Could get himself a second. Vi will actually get that one. And now Imitai here somehow staying alive. Is he going to be able to finish off that one? No, not quite got the damage. Both Peace Mike and Godquai went super low. What a crazy, crazy fight there by the Dragon.
I really wonder what would happen if 2-8 hit the ultimate onto, well, actually stunned the other people on the other team. He got the damage, obviously, but they were turned away at that last second, and he missed out on the entirety of that. Not to mention, Imitai could have picked up 2 kills if they were so close to picking those up, but they're able to escape it. Overall, a very, I want to say, close fight for both teams. I mean, it was at that point in the game where they're trying to kind of get their dominance and control over it, but neither team was really able to fully get it.
maybe they're able to fully get it, but look at that. 4-0-0 Tristana right now. That is scary. I mean, Vayne obviously is going to be scaling up with things going there, but this Tristana with a range increase that obviously she's going to be getting as things move on, mean that she's going to be harder to lock down in the fights, and it's going to be able to stand a lot further away from it than Vayne will.
And if you think about how the fight kind of is going to progress, you're going to most likely have Jarvan Shyvana going into the back against her. Well, over for, Imitai, he might have Vi, he might have Renekton coming for him, but he can obviously knock Renekton away. He can obviously jump away from them too on top of that. And I think with the range, he's going to have the ability to hit 228, because remember, you have to be very close to people who want to be able to hit them.
So push down onto the bottom now, or not, just President Ma actually headed down there after clearing out a couple of wards on that bottom side of the jungle. With Sean and Red are down there. Red now picking himself up a Megatron cloak on top of that Sunfire cape, which he did finally finish off just before getting involved in that. But there's a bit of a push coming here from DFM onto the middle turret.
Looks like they want 228. They're going in for it.
Oh, yeah, there goes the shockwave onto him. Cataclysm comes down, but 228 had his flash available, and Syros actually taking so many hits there from the turret, and now Peacemite's going to go chasing after him. Vayne's coming around the back as well. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he will fall. Godquai picked up that one.
In the meantime, the rest of DFM haven't been able to make anything happen. Now they're a man down. They're being chased away as Red's coming in towards the blue on top of it. And just like that, I mean, it seemed like a little bit of a miscommunication or mistiming that 228 had his flash, was able to escape all of that and stay alive, which is really the key point.
This turret should be down here as well for CGA, especially now with Red moving in from that side. The next wave of minions coming down as well. We've got the control here with those 4 champions. Actually, we're going to see the ultimate coming out of Shyvana, going in towards Sean, but will he be able to finish off? Guerrera is going to die to that one. Smite going very, very low as the box is thrown into position, and now they jump back in. There is a knock-up. No, not quite getting in there. The knockback went down. Tristana has died, but here comes the mop-up. Godquai going to get back involved. Will be able to finish off here with a 3rd hit, and that will be another wipeout for DFM, losing 4 men there. Syros does come back around, gets the shutdown. They're going to lose the tower, though.
Oh, he might be able to pick up a kill, though.
Oh, no. Not quite on that one, but he will get the kill afterwards here with the auto attacks in the end. Red walks away from it, but they almost just wipe each other out.
Yeah, it was so weird because Imitai, he overestimated his ability to go in and pick up those kills. He overestimated how much CC that CGA has. They locked him down with Annie, they locked him down with Renekton, and he wasn't able to move. He had the ability to pick up those last 2 or 3 kills, and in these last 2 fights alone, no matter which way they're going, they're still so close to being one team's perfect fight. It's just 1 or 2 things keep going wrong, and the other team takes advantage of it. And right now, Peacemite's going to chase him away, keep him away from that blue, and Syros not able to pick that one up. But right now, 6-3-5 Renekton, 4-2-4 Vayne, and a 5-1-0 Tristana. Those are some very scary people with some kills.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to be the rest of the team that really dictate how that's going to go. This, the sad truth of it almost with a very strong Tristana is that Shockwave going to be in the right position? Are they going to be able to protect her for one with that Renekton and Vi diving straight into the backline to try and make sure that Tristana is not as heavily involved in the fight as DFM will surely be wishing. We've got the Dragon coming up here again in less than a minute. Actually, we're 20.5 minutes into this game. Certainly still a strong part of the map, a big objective still here. We're not quite to that point where Baron is everything and Dragon's just an added bonus.
Yeah, and right now, we don't really know which team has the advantage currently. It's 11 to 12 in kills. The goal difference is less than 1,000 right now. Or more than 1,000 right now. I can do math, I swear. But CJ have such a strong composition with locking people down that DFM getting put behind early on, even though Imitai was 4-0. It doesn't, because Shyvana was hurt early on, sitting at 1-4, he doesn't have the tankies he needs to dive in 1v4 like he did in the game prior.
So, Dragon started out here then by CGA, and look how fast it goes down. Picked up there, easy Peacemite. Not messing around. There's another brilliant Tibbers from Sean. Have they got the damage here from this one? There's the Shockwave coming out, but Red right at the front of them all, doing so much damage. soaking up everything that they've got to throw at them. And now Godquai just going to hammer away. Even gets a stun there onto Seros. Flashes over the wall. That's an easy kill for him. Shut down in the end. And it will be a 2-for-1. I thought we were going to see more casualties from that fight, but with President Ma going low,
oh wow, they're going there.
Yeah, they are going to go straight towards Baron from that one. I mean, Red was the only real one that got low, obviously apart from Peace Might, who went down. But have they got the damage?
I think they saw them. No, they didn't see them going. They have a ward down, but they should have been able to see it. They're heading down towards it. This is a very potentially bad play for CGA because you still have a full health Tristana coming right at you, and they're dropping very low.
But they're going to get it. The Baron is going to be taken here, but can they get away from this onslaught that's coming their way? There is one kill back as we see Garira right in the back. There is Tristana diving in. Red will try and finish him off. They've actually managed to get one. Now it's a 1v1. Tristana dives off towards Red, but he doesn't die, and that will be a triple kill coming down for Godquai. They lose out on Baron. They tried to contest it in the end, but they lose the 3-man team that they've sent there.
And that Vayne, wow, now 8-2 and 5, pick up a triple kill right there. Great position as well. And because he wasn't the one tanky, because Sean was the actual one to take most of the damage, he was able to clean up all those kills. He was able to get even more fed. And his items, he's sitting on 2,800 gold to spend right now, and he only has, I believe, the Rune King and that Zeal. He's going to be so hard to deal with now. He's going to be so slippery, and they've already had a tough time being able to kill him already.
Not good news here for DFM, who you have to feel for them, but at the same token, CGA played game number 1 without an AD carry. You can't, I think, judge game number 1 quite as heavily as we maybe did, calling it a composition, whether it was, you know, an oversight in the picking or what really happened to that one. I'd be very interested to hear after the game if Shox manages to have a bit of a word with him. But right now, Seros chased down by Red, who's picked up the Youmuu's Ghostblade.
That is... I'm just looking at his items and I'm like, I would not want to be playing against him right now because that is going to hurt. He's going to be able to catch up to you. He's going to be able to lock you down. He's going to put out so much damage on top of that. But right now they're going in Orianna.
They have thrown a lot of ultimates that way. Shockwave actually will get one. President Ma hooks in the wrong crocodile. And they will be able to get this turret, no question about that. And President Ma now comes back in, but he's been chased down by a Vayne who... he flashed last second, but the bolt was already on its way through. Turret goes down. Red's like, I'm pretty tanky, guys. I can tank up about 10 hits from this turret without going low. Garira trying to force him back there, but with the Vayne now 9-2-5, you have to wonder as Sean is going to flash over. Tibbers comes in as well, and that is the turret secured from them. Annalace did Cataclysm, but that will be the end of his life. And now that turret down on the inhibitor to half HP. Ini will fall as well, and Baron is still running. It's got just about half to go. I mean, they got plenty of time to keep pushing with this.
But you know, they have plenty more of money to go back and spend when they do finally do that. It's going to be really hard for DFM with this inhibitor going down to well, I mean, they can kill people on CGA, but they can't get the right targets anymore. Red is just too damn tanky. 7-3 and 10 now. They were able to kill Sean, but I mean, that's a support, and he's been doing a fantastic job with these flash initiates, and Godquai just, he can't be touched in the back line right now.
No, that's the real problem of it as well, that if you can't get down, well, any Vayne in a team fight is one thing, but a Vayne that's now sat at 9-2-6, adding in that BF sword and Negatron cloak as well. I mean, if he gets up to that Guardian Angel, it's kind of sad to say, but you can pretty much kiss your game goodbye there.
Yeah, it's completely right. And what they need to do is, which is exactly what they're doing right now, they have the Oricon President Mao. They're trying to clear out the vision, and they have to catch CG out in their own, or in their side of the jungle, if they want to be able to pick up the kills and get some turrets, because even though they're even in them, they could use that free money that's just sitting there on the map.
There's Red picking up another tower for CGA. Up to now 4-3. He's got almost 2,000 gold to spend. Blue buff going to be stolen away. And the top side of the map, all red in terms of wardage. And this inner turret's not safe either. Honestly, that Baron buff is going to run off, but do they really want to stick around for this one?
Well, I don't think they should. They kind of have to give this one a bit. They have to give this one up. I mean, they're too far away from the Superman's pushing middle, and they're actually chasing out President Ma.
Yeah, he's dead from this. There's no way you're getting out of that. Red actually getting into the front. Gonna pop Dominus as Godquai now. Where's he gonna go? Nice shockwave, 4-man shockwave, but it didn't do any damage. It doesn't do any damage there. Void Staff, Athene's Unholy Grail, Just not enough ability power to get that one really rolling. And now with those ultimates down, we see the jungler going in. There's the assault and battery going in. Guerrera is going to lose his life. It leaves just 2 men, and they're not stopping just here. Red diving right to the front of them. Anna Lace is still alive, but there's a flash from Godquai. Tries to stun Seros, doesn't quite land that, and Anna Lace gets away, but with super minions coming in, they're going for the win.
And they should be able to pick this one up too. Fantastic job by CJ considering how far they were behind in this series, being down 1 game and looking like it was over for them, coming back with these AD carries to pick up these wins. Very well done.
And that Nexus is going down. They're trying their best to stop this one from happening. Nice knock-up, Cataclysm comes down, but it will be CGA that pick up game number 3 and then move into the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore Amateur Tournament. Looking very, very cool about all of that, actually, considering that they were behind. We said it before, no AD carrying game number 1. The way that League of Legends is, you cannot play without an AD carrier, I'm afraid. Certainly in this patch. I'm not going to rule it out for anything in the future. But
don't know about that pie patch.
But yeah, in 3.13, there's no way that you can do that. Especially, I mean, if it's 2 teams without AD carries, then sure, maybe you can have a better time of it. But when the opposition's got a Caitlyn and you can't really do anything about her, then sure. But CGA, you know, forgot that game number 1, came in here with 2 great performances back to back. Game 3. A lot more clean cut, I'd say, than game number 2, which had its swings in terms of who was really in the lead and who was falling behind in that one. But I think the real test is still to come here for CGA. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from DFM here, because coming out of Japan, first time they've ever met each other in real life outside of the game, they can be happy with their performance. Yeah, in my opinion, they definitely didn't get shamed at all. Yeah,
and that first game, they did such a great job of doing something that a lot of teams have problems with, you know, adapting mid-game, you know, change up the strategy, closing out games. I mean, they did that very well. It's just in game 2 and 3, they couldn't seem to get their foot in the door or something like that. I know they're running with a different AD carry, and I've heard a lot of good things about their actual AD carry, but I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's also nice for them to kind of test their waters against the international scene. You know, how well do we do against these other countries? How well do we do against these other teams? And maybe it's kind of like a kick they need to start practicing a little bit more, or maybe it gives them a little bit more motivation to start, you know, becoming the top team in Japan. And that's why we have the system that we have at the Intel Extreme Masters, specifically for the amateur side of things, where we get teams out here who, you know, they might not be your world beaters, they might not be the next, you know, season 4 champions, but if these guys don't get their chance to play in an event, they're never ever going to get that experience, and they'll just be another team that never get it. And this is the kind of thing that can help a team grow. I'm really happy for DFM that they came out here so strong today. Think about Gambit. Who were they before Intel Extreme Masters Kiev? Well, they weren't. That was the point. And, well, we just saw how strong they are again after they won in Cologne. But it's CJ, of course, who should be getting all the praise right now, because they're the team that were 1-0 behind 2 games in a row, moving on to the grand final. But as I said, 2 tough opponents, whichever one I think comes through. Kuala Lumpur Hunters, who have been practicing here for the last couple of hours in the tournament area. Hong Kong Attitude, who are I don't want to say by far, but certainly the favorites on paper coming into this amateur tournament. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, they need to be able to watch this next best of 3 and kind of pick apart, what can we do against this team? What can we do against this one? And honestly, I don't even know the difference in caliber between these 3 teams that will be going up, but Hong Kong Attitude is definitely the favorites, I think, by far in my head at least. But Kuala Lumpur Hunters, we saw them actually last season, a little bit of a different roster when we were here last year, but they were in a 3-way tie with some pretty notable teams going into the playoffs. Yeah, and hopefully this time around is a little bit kinder for them. We were running obviously on the time difference to figure out all the group stage. We got away with that rule because it's pretty terrible. It is pretty trash. I think we all knew that in the first place. It was just there to, you know, be the be-all end-all decider. I don't think we hit it so many times as we did last season. Yeah, it's super hard to, you know, figure out another way around that sometimes in terms of, you know, this place that we're in. Obviously, we're at a convention for you guys at home that don't realize that, but has a closing time, so you can't just infinitely play until you find a winner, sadly. So sometimes you have to have those sometimes crappy rules to really fix that one up. But enough waffling from us. That's it for the first semi-final. Second one will be coming up here shortly. But first of all, we're going to head up onto the main stage where Shox is ready for an interview.
Thank you very much, Joe. Yeah, I'm joined by Godquai and Sean, the bottom lane of CGA. And I got to start by asking you guys, in that game one, an Orianna and an Annie duo lane, no AD carry. Was that a mistake or was that really the strategy? Sean?
We want to try a new plan to play with Japan team. So finally, we have failed. Then we defeat very early.
Yeah, that didn't go so well in game one, but then game 2 and 3, very good. You were on Lucian and Vayne in those games. Tell us how that went for you.
I just want to play AD because my AD is better. My Orianna not good.
And we saw that. I thought you did good, though. But, of course, very good games on Vayne and on Lucian. And I also got to ask you, how important is it for you guys as a team to be here at this international event and kind of show the world, you know, this is our team. We're pretty good.
Before we came here, we have played the LNL competition. We have 9 defeats. So we improve and improve until today. We did, and we can have a chance to beat the strong team.
Absolutely, you guys did fantastic. Congratulations on getting to the final tomorrow. Well, give it up, you guys, for Cyber Games Arena for making it to the final. I'm looking forward to that. Maybe we'll see that Orianna of you again, or maybe not. But anyway, for us, we're going to take a short break because when we come back, we're going to have the second semifinal of our amateur tournament here. It's going to be between Hong Kong Attitude and the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Don't go anywhere.